Morning, Wiggle here. Day 6 of my Tulsa real estate adventure. Today, I'm going to be making doors. I'm going to make a door for this garage or this little shop. And I'm in the midst of making a door for that back door, exterior door. Now I have limited options because of this really strange size 75.5 by 30 exterior door. Hard to find that one. So I'm making one. So I just got some of this exterior sheathing, siding, really tough stuff. It kind of looks like wafer board, but it's got different kind of glues in it. And pretty tough. I made a chicken house out of it. Lasts for years, even out in the weather unpainted. So it'll be fine back here underneath this porch. And it's not the most beautiful thing, but it matches the cedar that's already there. So reasonable choice. And I got it. It's $30 a sheet, something like that. And I got it half price because the sheet was cracked. But I cut the crack off, and I still have the piece I needed. So I got it for like $14.48 or something, which I was very happy, considering this would probably be at least $300 door special ordered. So I got that cut, and it's set in the frame, and I'll go around and show you the inside. Now there is the shop door, similar to that other product. This was 40 bucks a sheet. And here's the back door. So I got everything wedged in there. Cut 2x4s. Didn't have a miter saw. Cut it with my skill saw. Also, the angles are not perfect. This whole thing is weird, out of square, and the wall is not flat, so it's just a nightmare anyway. So I'm building the door right inside the frame. That way I don't have to do all this shaving trying to get it to work. Now, if you notice, I put screws around the 2x4s to hold a little bit of a gap. I didn't do it on this part where the hinges are, because later when I mortise cut out for those hinges, that gap will be fine. That's what I want on that side. So on the bottom, it gives me something to rest my plywood on. So I'll just rest this there. Anyway, it doesn't want to go because the screws are in the way. Very close though. Just a couple of screws. Hold on. Let me see if I can move. There we go. And obviously going to have to do a little bit of shaving. Not a big deal with this lightweight. But now here it's getting to start to look like a door. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Tight Bond. I'm going to glue this and put a few finish nails in it to hold it in place. And then I will let it dry, and then I'll go outside and I'll take it out of the frame because it'll all be set, and then I'll put the other side on. But I'll be laying flat. I'll put some foam insulation in there, and then I'll glue it and clamp it. Put a few finished nails in the face of it, and that way I have the exact door I need. So that's the general idea. I will show you some progress on this, and I'll also show you when I get started on that garage door. Yeah, and it's like 70 degrees today in November. It's 15 degrees above normal. Ah, what a beautiful day. I'm into t-shirt November. Thankfully, we had that cold snap. Now it warmed back up. I'm very thankful for this weather. Good door weather. And I'm going to get up in there and tar the roof a little bit. And I got to cut the edge. Kind of left them hanging. I didn't have a hook blade. So I have a hook blade now. I can go up and trim the edge of my shingles. So I'll show you that later too. Ah, what a mess. Alright, thanks. Tight Bond applied. Since I didn't come prepared to build doors, I used a piece of angle iron off of a bed frame for my straight edge. Because that's all I have around here. I just thought I'd share that. Oh, I'll tell you, building the doors is a lot less work than trying to find all the materials to get it done. That's a piece of old, the red board there is an old piece of pressure treated that was laying around here, so I use that as the bottom of my door. So as I'm putting it together, don't look too close at my miters. I did the best I could. Using barbaric tools here. Cordless saw with a bad, worn out blade. And then, you know, you go to shave a little here or there, and it's a nightmare. Anyway, I put 3 1/4 inch screws in all the corners going both ways. And as I'm putting it together, I put a screw in from the side at the top where I'm working to hold everything in place when I'm pushing it around. And then once it's all put together, I come back and put screws in. And the reason it's all screws is because once I glue the back side, get that all tight, then I'll flip it over, take the screws out, put the insulation in, and then glue this side and nail it in. So I just got to pull these screws out that were holding everything in place. Then I can find some material and start gluing the back side. This is just a garage door, so I'm not super worried about how it looks. I'll just round up some scrap. So I'll show you in a little bit. I don't think I was recording. Okay. I found some scrap OSB from the roof. I'm using an 1.5 inch spacer. I don't want the water wicking up the OSB, so I'm giving it an 1.5 inch space off the ground so no water will get it. I put these scraps. I didn't use my battery up to cut this scrap. I just used it as is. It's 16 inches up, 16 inches in. And that is reinforcement for these hinges. I'll show you that later. So I will glue this, and I'm going to use screws since it's the inside. I don't really care what it looks like. This is just a garage. So I'm going to just screw the back side, and then I'll nail the front side. So there's my glue. I set the board on there now, and see how I've just made sure that it's just inside, nothing sticking out, because I don't want to have any issues with having to shave anything. So everything is inside. Now I'll just put one screw in each corner, and then I'll just screw the whole thing off. Yeah, one trick when you have your board on there, just mark it with pencil so you know where to end your glue. So I have this roof scrap, more of this roof scrap. So I'm going to put these pieces in and put some scrap 2x4s in as reinforcements. So I just got to cut one little piece of this scrap, and we have a complete inside of a door for basically nothing. All scraps from that roof. Cool. Getting ready to put the little scrap pieces in. There's the inside. This door is going to weigh a ton. It'll be solid though. I'll have to go through the wall instead of the door. Right, I'm going to flip it over and do some more work. Got it all glued up. I'm just going to throw it on there and nail it on. So my carriage bolts were ended up, they're like a 1/4 inch too short because I used that OSB. I wasn't planning on that. I was planning on a thinner back, but I had to go get new carriage bolts. Otherwise, got it all done. Got to hang it and put the latch on it. But I got it nailed and glued and screwed and glued, and it's a heavy door. I'm going to go put it in place, because I got to close it up before I can go get more bolts. That's why I put these little drywall screws in, this kind of catty corner just to hold it in place. So I'll show you it when it's hung. Well, there it is. I'm going to need a handle, but that's the idea. I need a little bit more hardware too. Just dragging just slightly in this corner, but I think it's more the jam than the door. So that's the inside. don't want to do that. So that's that. I'm going to go start on that one right there. Well, I've only got one hinge. I wasn't sure of my hinge situation here, so there's the door. Yeah, I split it with the saw. I was trying to trim that edge and it just ripped it. That's unfortunate, but it's going to be painted, so I'll putty it and sand it and then paint it. Nobody will ever know. So once I get the hinges on, then I can start on the knob. I don't want to do the knob until I know the hinges are all working and everything is set in place. And it is just a bit tight in the door. We'll see what happens when I get all the hinges in and everything. May just have to either try to get that door jamb to move a little bit or shave the door. It's really close though. It's in there and it's tight. Better to have it too tight than too loose. You can't really add much more back to it. This is a very challenging door just because it's not square, it's not level, it's not plumb, it's not even straight in the wall. It is a nightmare. But mortise the hinges by hand with the chisel. So we'll see if I can get a doorknob on it tonight. But we're on the way to having a door. I want to show you, this is something I have been able to manage. My big battery, my 3 amp hour or 3 amp hour battery is charged. Haven't been able to do it with just the panel. So I'm at 12.1 with my car battery. I put the two batteries together in conjunction with the solar, and everything together is now managing to charge. And this added all this amp hours from this battery, 800 more to that one is about 1200. So 2000 amp hours at 12 volts, along with the solar input and the cheap inverter. And I am charging my Milwaukee batteries finally. I'm gonna go ahead and get another one hooked up, but that's the deal right there. I'm glad it's working. So I started the car just to make sure everything would be fine, and it fired right up, wasn't dragging at all. So I was just making sure. I'm gonna let it run just for a minute and then shut her back down. Charging those big batteries is important if I want to keep working. I've been running out of batteries, and the solar alone is just not quite doing it. But good news, good news. Alright, I'm back up on the roof. I call it the roof of many colors. That's where my hole was. I used one bundle and ended up reusing most of the other stuff. It is such a mess up here. I'm going to make sure to caulk a lot. You put a lot of roofing tar on the cracks and nail heads and stuff that's showing. It's just not good. I need a piece of flashing for the corners. Haven't got that yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to trim this roof. The trick is the hook blade. If you don't know what that is, that's what will let you cut the shingle. So I'll just pop a line and I'll just go off the roof that was already straight. I did that many years ago, and then pop a line and then cut it and make it look even from the ground. I'm going to use just some roofing tar, and I'm also going to use that limb saw to get some of these limbs back off the roof without a lot of climbing. $20 Harbor Freight limb saw, so we'll see how that goes. I'm going to go ahead and pop this line and then start cutting. One thing I wanted to tell you is the reason I'm cutting today is it's 75 degrees, it's later in the afternoon. This roof is as warm as it's going to get. I don't know if you know this or not, but the warmer the roof, the easier it is to cut. So when it's cold, it is the worst, and when it's hot, man, it cuts like butter. And it's not hot today, but it's warm, so this will be as easy as it's going to be for me. That's why I waited to do this. So I'm going to go ahead and get some tar on and also cut these shingles. I'll give you a picture before I get down. Also going to trim this branch here. I can reach it easy. Anything I can get on that tree and on that tree over there. So there's just a little bit in the front. Alright, I went over it with some tar. I didn't trust a lot of that old roof, so I did all the edges of the shingles, any seams, anything. I didn't like the way it looked. I just put a little tar on it. Over here is where there was a leak. If you see that little bitty thin layer of like 2-inch layer of shingles, that was missing. There was exposed panels, and I'm pretty sure that's what the leak was. So I went ahead and slid some more shingles in there and caulked all that. It all looked pretty good up there. That's original, my stuff. And then anything I had to lift or anything I butted up to on the sides. You want to always check the sides of your repairs, and then up, you have to peel them up to get underneath them. So you always want to retar that underneath, and I even hit the seams. I just want to make sure nothing leaks. That's that. There's my trimmed edge. It's a little better. Not perfect, but not bad. So I'm up here tarring just because it's warm. It's the best. It'll lay us flat. You know, the shingles will stick down best. So I'm just going to trim a few branches. Anything I can do safely off this slow pitch. I'm not going to do anything crazy today. It's just windy, and I'm later in the day. I'm tired. By doing it climbing, I'll be early. I'll just show you the branches when I'm done. I went ahead and climbed out. Cleared all that off the roof. I just noticed my old ridge beam's not as straight as it used to be. Not good. And I'm going to go down and do a little more trees. Looks like we lost our sun, so my solar's over. So anyway, I'll update you more later.